Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. Today we are covering a new clue as to why and how Sarada will unlock her Mangekyou Sharingan in a manner that no other Uchiha has ever before. Essentially, the idea in the community that Sarada Uchiha will unlock her Mangekyou Sharingan through love rather than hate. No, I know, this is part of the fandom, boo! But new anime balls deep, how did you make a theory like this? This isn't nothing new. Well, shut your mouth, firstly. We have found substantial evidence that backs this idea even more. So this is a theory. An anime balls deep theory.
It's showtime! Woo!
Now, most of you may be aware and be thinking, where did this theory come about, right? Well, me and Ian covered this theory 2.5 years ago. Let's do a quick flashback, please. Sarada will unlock the Mangekyou Sharingan by ending the cycle of hatred myth or term within the Uchiha.
Yo, why does it sound like somebody has a gun to his head while he's voicing, bro? Alright, continue.
However, before we can start, we all need to be on the same page and understand how the Mangekyou Sharingan is awakened in the Naruto universe in the first place when the curse of hatred concept still existed. We also need to understand where the Mangekyou Sharingan was inspired from for Kishimoto to design it and write it in this manner. Essentially, similar to the other Mangekyou Sharingan abilities, Susanoo was taken from Japanese mythology. Susanoo is the wild god of sea and storms, brother to Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi, the abilities that Itachi used. Susanoo was born from Izanagi washing his nose. Susanoo inherited his father's sword Tatsuka, which Izanagi used to kill his newborn son Kagusuchi after his birth burned his mother Izanami to death. After his exile for relentless harassment of Amaterasu, Susanoo redeemed himself when he used the Tatsuka blade he inherited to slay the serpent Yamata no Uruchi and obtain the sword of Kusanagi from the monster's corpse. He later gave the acquired blade to Amaterasu as a peace offering. Now you may be wondering, after all these big ass Japanese words and shit, what the hell is Anime Balls Deep even saying, right?
What did you say now?
Bruh. Ian, please explain the curse of hatred to these guys.
Now, the curse of hatred was an ideal common to the members of the Uchiha clan according to the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju. The Uchiha were people greatly devoted to love and friendship. However, when the object of that affection was lost, an Uchiha's love was instantaneously turned into hatred, leaving them more inclined to do anything and everything in their power in order to achieve their goals and show off their superiority, regardless of the consequences and repercussions of their actions. When this emotional state is achieved, the despair of these experiences causes a manifestation of a very unique chakra inside the Uchiha's brain, impacting the optic nerves, which creates the Sharingan. The Sharingan's advanced forms also require an extremely painful experience, which causes the user to delve into the darkness that utterly consumes them. The curse of hatred was first displayed by the Uchiha's ancestor, Indra Otsutsuki. When Indra's father, the Sage of Six Paths, was on his deathbed, he was left to choose between his two sons on who would carry his legacy. Indra believed that peace could only be achieved through power, whereas his younger brother Ashura Otsutsuki believed that peace could only be achieved through love. Although many Uchiha do display the curse of hatred at some point in their lives, some are able to transcend their clan's narrow-mindedness, such as Kagami Uchiha, Itachi Uchiha, and Sarada Uchiha. They all live by the will of fire instead. Despite this, Naruto Uzumaki, Ashura's reincarnation, was able to redeem his best friend and purge the curse of hatred from Sasuke completely. In Naruto chapter 462, we were told that the Senju follow Ashura and the Will of Fire concept through Naruto, whereas the Uchiha follow Indra and the concept of the curse of hatred within Sasuke. However, in that final battle, Sasuke was the only surviving Uchiha that used his free will to break free of the curse by accepting Naruto's friendship and acknowledging him by allowing him to help him continue the Will of Fire by becoming the Shadow Hokage. As time went on, Sasuke's daughter Sarada would embrace the Will of Fire and effectively eradicate the curse of hatred.
Now that we are all on the same page and understand the curse of hatred that it doesn't exist anymore in Boruto, Sasuke actually used his free will to destroy the cycle and forgave Naruto by joining him instead. The cycle of reincarnations is effectively over since true peace has been achieved. Zetsu mentioned that the reincarnation of Asura and Indra at times would work together in the past, but as shown with Madara and Hashirama, they would almost always fall out with one another. Naruto and Sasuke no longer have that issue. Sasuke went from being someone who refused to rely on others to now openly accepting Naruto's love for him and calls him his best friend as he offers to keep him from falling into darkness in chapter 698 as we saw. With this declaration, even atoning for his sins by not getting a new arm that we wish he would against Ishiki Yotsuki, but the curse of hatred concept doesn't actually exist anymore. So how the hell would Sarada Uchiha continue this cycle of hatred?
That don't make no sense.
Boruto is a story about not allowing bonds to define you. According to Boruto artist Ikimoto and one of the Jump editors assigned to help him in 2018, Ikimoto said that Boruto is a story about shaking off the inheritance of your family by creating your own path and destiny. This piggybacks off the reason Kishimoto in 2015 first showed us Sarada wanting to be Hokage and getting close to Naruto. Then later on in 2015 we were given the Boruto movie where Naruto's son actively pushed to get out of his father's shadow and vowed to be a ninja like Sasuke Uchiha. In both instances, the children sought to be different than their fathers. In 2016, Kishimoto drew a special one-shot manga where we see Mitsuki, the son of Orochimaru, actively working to find his own identity, and he works to carve his own path forward. In all three core members of Team 7, we see this common theme, right? This brings us to Sarada. She's someone who is following that same path forward. Her awakening Mangekyou Sharingan due to deep emotional loss by death is literally the opposite of what the Boruto story's message is supposed to be. In the Boruto anime and manga, there is a lot of foreshadowing that Sarada can possibly get the Mangekyou Sharingan through a new method of love rather than hate. The evidence begins from Kishimoto's original arc in Naruto Gaiden that he personally wrote. When Naruto spoke to Sarada in the scene as she activates her Sharingan out of loss and thinking that Sakura is not her mother, Naruto explains the concept of Ninshu and the will of fire. This foreshadows how Sarada will activate her Sharingan through the means of Asura and Senju ideals rather than Indra and the curse. If she wants to be Hokage, she needs to understand Ninshu and the love concept Hagoromo, the Sage of Six Paths, was preaching on about. When she says to Naruto, why should she value someone not even related to her, Naruto says it's the feelings of love. Therefore, the curse of hatred does not exist anymore. Tobirama saying immense feelings for hatred is correct, but this concept actually works both ways. What if Sarada feels immense love to activate that special chakra to unlock the Mangekyou Sharingan? Now, I'm going to mention our Reddit because this was posted there by Legend Caution. I've been mentioning the Reddit a lot lately. We are one community, right? Smash that like button for me if you like these type of theories and videos. That will let me know to keep featuring you guys in them. And thank you to all these goddamn people buying that Jigen merch. Jigen! Guys, there's a discount code. Please support us if you'd like. It will be in the pinned comment. But anyway, on Reddit, this theory supports the idea of love, that Sarada will unlock the Sharingan through a means that no other Uchiha has. Now, let me first introduce to you a fictional character named Kushinada Hime. According to the Shinto legend, the god storm known as Susanoo, he was banished from heaven, as I stated earlier in the video, and he encounters a couple near the river who are somehow crying. Susanoo asked them why they are both crying. They answered by introducing a monster called Orochi. This couple had to sacrifice one child every year in order to keep Orochi from going on a rampage. So when they had to sacrifice their 8th and final daughter, her name was Kushinada. Susanoo saw their daughter and had a love at first sight, and Susanoo asked Kushinada to be his wife. Kushinada replied to him that she will become his bride if only Orochi is defeated. defeated. Susanoo agreed to these terms and he tricked Orochi and killed him with his Totsuka blade. Now, obviously to Naruto fans this sounds familiar if you keep reading, because Itachi knows that in order to secure the future of the Uchiha clan, he had to defeat Orochimaru. So we know what happened. Itachi killed Orochimaru with the Totsuka blade, and if you haven't seen my video about 8 things you didn't know about Orochimaru, part of his concept and design is inspired from Orochi, this mythology, as Kishimoto copied a lot of Japanese myths to create Naruto's story. Moving on, the couple has to sacrifice one child every year. This is parallel in Naruto where Orochimaru has to find vessels one after another, sacrificing them for himself. We can interpret that the 8th daughter could be Sarada, which is Sasuke's future. So this is where the theory comes into play, where the guy believes that Sarada will awaken the Mangekyou Sharingan through pure deep love. So why will it not awaken, as Kushinada in the mythology actually falls in love with Susanoo and marries him? Now obviously I'm not saying Sarada is gonna marry Sasuke, but I'm saying Sarada loves Sasuke and Susanoo, right? You guys get the whole gist of the idea, blah 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 blah. Anyway, Legend Kashin goes on in his theory explaining that Sarada's chakra armor would be much like Susanoo, but we called something different, a different jutsu called Kushinada, and if that happens, that'll be some crazy balls deep prediction, I'm not gonna lie, because every Susanoo reflects the person's soul, right? So yeah, let's move on. Ian, take over the video.
So now we have to talk about Sarada's symbolism in the number 8. So the Kushinada theory regarding the 8th child and the child being a daughter is very important. So the reason why this should hit home harder for a lot of people, if we go strictly by the manga continuity, Sarada will be the 8th person who will be shown having awakened the Mangekyou Sharingan. As a brief reminder, in the Naruto manga, throughout all 72 volumes, there are only 7 people shown by Kishimoto as having awakened the Mangekyou. Do you think this is a coincidence?
No, this isn't a coincidence, Ian. They planned Boruto from the very beginning for one reason. No, but seriously, when we take a look at the Naruto series, there are signs that at least 2 Uchiha believe that there was a different route for the Uchiha to gain power. These 2 people are Sarada's own father Sasuke and her uncle Itachi. Now I know some of you might say, hold on a second, didn't Itachi tell Sasuke to go and kill his best friend to get the Mangekyou Sharingan? Didn't Sasuke literally say that his eyes see perfectly in the darkness after he attained eternal Mangekyou Sharingan? So to explain why this is the case, we first have to look at the moments both Itachi and Sasuke realized that they were wrong about their past decisions. Itachi, while alive, believed that the death of a close loved one was the only way to achieve the true power of the Uchiha. However, when Itachi was about to return to the afterlife, it was during his moments of reflection that he realized that all of his wisdom was wrong. We see this in part when Itachi says that treating Sasuke like an adult before the Uchiha massacre could have been a way to heal the wounds of the clan and stop their father from leading the coup d'etat against Konoha and stop the curse of hatred right then and there. This is our first sign that at least one Uchiha realized that the trade-off of the Uchiha gained from the power of loss was actually the wrong path. Itachi's belief that Sasuke's innocence and loving worldview could have healed the clan, a realization he came to after seeing Sasuke consumed in the darkness as a 17-year-old in the war. It's a sign that their power is actually rooted in love instead of hatred. However, the true sign in this comes from Sasuke during what we refer to as the blank period, which are the events of Naruto's story after the 4th Ninja War and before the Boruto anime actually starts. It's in a time where Naruto marries Hinata, busy doing you know what?
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Now, when we transition over to the Sasuke Sunrise novel, that is canon and has been adapted into the anime, we have passages that are directly from Sasuke's mind about how Tobirama's words about the Uchiha actually haunted Sasuke. Part of his redemption journey, according to Sasuke himself, was to find a way to understand the Uchiha blood, in particular, what it was that caused him to spiral out of control and how to actually prevent it. Sasuke says himself that he's still at risk of falling into that darkness, but he doesn't want to rely on Naruto to pull him out of that darkness if that time ever came, but instead Sasuke wants to be the one who pulls himself out. Up until this point, Sasuke knew that the pain of loss tended to lead to hatred, and through that combination, the Uchiha's eyes became more powerful, where it reflects the despair and anger towards the world after love was taken away from them. However, from this novel, Sasuke's own reflection shows that he himself believed that there was another path forward. In Boruto, we see that there is another way through his daughter Sarada. In the anime adaptation of Naruto Gaiden, we learned that Sarada first awakened the Sharingan as a toddler back when she got sick, with Sakura saying in the hospital that Sarada had the Sharingan from the very moment when she got sick, back when she longed to see her father again. Now, in the Naruto Parent and Child Day novel, Sasuke is made aware of how naturally sensitive Sarada is when Sakura is shown cutting Sasuke's hair. Sakura shares to Sasuke that Sarada is a very observant and sensitive child with a big heart that's filled with love, especially when it comes to her father. Sasuke in his own heart in this scene acknowledges that Sakura is indeed right, that Sarada loves her father so much that she places him on a pedestal that's so high. Sasuke, a man who spent so many years in the darkness, can never actually live up to how Sarada pictures her father. He doesn't want his darkness to taint the purity of Sarada's light, which in hindsight is why when he's about to kill the Shin Uchiha clones, why hearing Sarada cry out his name made Sasuke pause, because killing in front of his daughter would do damage to her psyche and it would not live up to the image that she has of him in her mind. Why would he want to be an impurity that taints the light of his daughter?
Of course!
Thank you, Ian. Let me take it from here. Well, that sensitivity to his daughter's path being filled with the purest form of love is seen in the Sasuke Shinden novel, The Teacher's Star Pupil, where just from the pure joy of being with her father is when we learn that Sarada has 3 Tomoe Sharingan. We later see this confirmed in the Boruto manga during the Boro fight. Just being around her father leading to that Sharingan reveal is huge, since it cashes in on a few moments from the anime where Sasuke promised to oversee her fireball jutsu training, and the novel goes even further. Sarada uses wind release around her father and is trained in advanced lightning release, which we see paid off when she uses the Chidori for the first time in the manga, saying she learned this from her father whilst training. You can argue that Sasuke is aware that his daughter is advancing at a rate much different than he did when he was at her age. His Sharingan awakened during the tragedy of Uchiha clan, and he consciously awakened Sharingan while protecting Naruto from Haku, and his eyes progressed to a 3 Tomoe when he fighting Naruto while struggling with Itachi's words of Sasuke needing to kill his best friend, right? In both cases, we see the power of pain of loss with the first Sharingan awakening and the prospect of killing a friend who was pressuring him in their fight. Sarada, on the other hand, awakened Sharingan out of longing to see her father, both subconsciously as a toddler and at the age of 11, as the thought of finally seeing him awakened it. Her 3 Tomoe was shown in her eyes just from the pure joy of being around Sasuke. This only further cements Sarada's eyes are rooted in the purest form of love.
And now moving on, this next point will further build on what we just looked at to show why Sarada's Mangekyou Sharingan will actually indeed be different. So when you look at all the Uchiha who've awakened the Mangekyou in the Naruto manga, they all have a common theme. Look at the Susanoo, they all have a gloomy appearance. The Susanos are made out of chakra, and chakra, it can be argued, is a reflection of one's soul. A great example of this is how Naruto Uzumaki senses the bright spirit of Naruto's soul through his chakra compared to the chakra that's around Sasuke that's described as being evil and cold. This is very important to keep in mind when looking at Tobirama's own words that we stated earlier in this video. So Sarada's personality and her soul could be reflected in her Susanoo when you look at it from this perspective. If chemical imbalances cause the Mangekyou to awaken, then an extreme imbalance caused by Sarada's heightened ability to love, in theory, could lead to a very similar shift. Perhaps it's a strong need and desire to protect someone that she loves who's in a life or death situation, where the stakes are so high that the chemicals in her own brain are sent into overdrive. This could be done with Sarada wanting to go to extremes to selflessly sacrifice her own body to protect someone that she cares for on a deep level of love, like say for instance her parents.
Ian, you just described every single anime power-up ever.
Bruh.
Anyways, you guys get the point. If Sarada truly wants to achieve becoming the 8th Hokage and has taken Naruto as her sensei, and she has to learn how to understand the concept of Ninshu as the writers have foreshadowed that, the whole message of the show is that if a person wants to become Hokage, they have to be acknowledged by everyone to be the Hokage and the leader, rather than themselves claiming it to be, just like Itachi told Naruto. So why the hell would anyone want a cold ass leader that is heartless or racist? No one wants a leader like that. Wait, I think I spoke too soon. Look at the USA. But you guys get the point. That's the whole theory. Thank you for submitting it on Reddit. We pretty much updated a video we did 2.5 years ago. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want more collabs, make sure to smash the like button. Sarada has to be this loving person that can fulfill the shoes of Naruto that stated the whole village is seen as family. Sarada has to be someone that has warm chakra and a nature that protects everyone rather than being selfish like the curse forces you to be. Thank you for supporting us. Join the Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, or Discord. Bye bye.